Hello everyone, welcome to UPSC Live. I am Manas, straight from the Noida studio of the Indian Express. आज का Indian Express जब आपने उठाया होगा तो आपको लगा होगा कुछ बदलाव, some changes or maybe a lot of changes. Not in the quality of journalism that we have always followed, but in the style it has been designed. Yes, it's a redesigned newspaper, the Indian Express, and of course, as UPSC aspirants, one of the most loyal ऑडियंस ऑफ द एक्सप्रेस जो कि इंडियन एक्सप्रेस को एज अ टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ती है फॉर करंट अफेयर्स टू अंडरस्टैंड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स फॉर एक्सप्लेनर्स टू नो ओपिनियन एंड सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स उनके लिए ये अखबार आज कुछ अलग रहा होगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिज़ाइन. नाउ इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू डिस्कस कि इस डिज़ाइन का जो है वो आपके ऊपर क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा या क्या इम्पैक्ट है. Or you can also tell us that, what are the things which you find good in this Indian Express new design, which can help you a lot. But when it comes to content and, how it's going to be more enriching for you, this is what is the focus of this discussion today in UPSC Live with Manas. Now, there are a few things before starting आज का discussion I will talk about. News जो है वो आपको कई medium से मिलती है, You are in an age where social media is there, where every person can be a reporter and convey news or, tell you about what's going on in and around world. But फिर भी UPSC students के लिए कहा जाता है कि newspaper पढ़ना बहुत ज़रूरी है. There are several reasons for it. There will be no one reason for it, or there can be people who will tell you different reasons. But one fact for sure that reading newspaper is very important and you must develop a habit. Newspaper is not just a document of collection of facts. It is also about ideas. It's about knowing opinions. It also tells you how to write, beautiful answers with good introductions, conclusion. It is also continuity, which you have to develop as a habit to understand news and current affairs. There are articles which may not be very current affairs based, but it conveys a lot of static portion of, and maybe connected to the static portion of your syllabus. It is also a way to realize that, a good news or good report, how it is written and how it should be read. All right. Newspapers like the Indian Express also gives you a very unbiased way of understanding a news, where it gives space to a lot of opinions and ideas, which for UPSC aspirants is important because it actually widens your dimensions around a particular issue. Now, how is it connected to the design, the new design? I'll talk about it in a little more time. Okay. Now, first of all, the most striking thing about the newspaper, if you see the old newspaper and the new one. Okay, so this is the newspaper remains the same. I mean, the design. What you will find is that in the new design or the redesigned Indian Express, you'll find the color scheme, which is a little different from the previous version. And there are many things. For example, in the front page, if you pick, and this is purely from the perspective of UPSC aspirants that you can focus on, is if you will see the Indian Express written here, and above that there is a particular line which highlights. Now, you don't need to search for what is the most important thing which we want you to definitely read, because that comes on the front page. वहाँ पे एक line रहेगी where it should push you, or it should kind of make you go to the ideas page to read US sanction on Russia oil, not about Ukraine, but it's about its own shale industry. Now, ये जो page है ना, which is opinion, idea, जो ये दो pages हैं, it takes you beyond current affairs news. It tells you about so many ideas which are associated to that news. So, for example, अगर आपको UPSC में कोई question आता है around US sanction of Russia, आपसे factual questions नहीं पूछेंगे. They will like to know your ideas, your opinion, your views, and those ideas, opinion, views of yours you'll be able to form by reading the views of experts. Okay, and these experts you will find mostly on the opinion page or the ideas page, and therefore ये जो नया addition है वो आपको straight away ये strike करेगा that you should go to the ideas page to understand something beyond news, on US sanction on Russia, which is full of ideas, opinion, and maybe it will help you to form your opinion, your idea, which you can write in your examination. So एक ये जो aspect है, this you should not miss. Then you will see the color scheme, which is almost like a blue and a black. Now, see, what happens is that newspaper, as I told you, is a very important document for UPSC aspirants or anybody who is, a student or preparing for competitive examination or reading newspaper for general or advanced knowledge. उसके लिए ज़रूरी होता है कि आँखों को वो अखबार सूदिंग लगना चाहिए, स्मूथ लगना चाहिए. Okay, it should not strike an imbalance to your eyesight, in way of color scheme. So in this way, this makes the reader have a very smooth experience while reading the newspaper, and that is something which is very important. And this again I'm saying from perspective of a student or UPSC aspirant or mentors for whom newspaper is like a टेक्स्ट बुक. अगर आपको इतना सारा पढ़ना है, बिकॉज सी जनरल रीडर की जो एक एक्सपेक्टेशन होता है फ्रॉम न्यूज़पेपर, दे हैव सेलेक्टिव पेजेस और वही पेजेस पे फोकस करते हैं. बट फॉर एन एस्पिरेंट, ही और शी हैज टू गो थ्रू ईच एंड every almost every page. Okay, and therefore that exercise can be tough. Now if I say that an aspirant reads a newspaper very religiously for say 2.5 hours, this might sound very strange to people who are not aware about UPSC preparation. कोई 2.5 घंटा क्यों एक अखबार को देगा? But UPSC aspirants give their 2.5 hours for reading a newspaper and making notes out of it. Okay, or having an analysis discussion on it. Therefore, बहुत ज़रूरी है कि वो एक आँखों के लिए एक experience अच्छा होना चाहिए in the form of color scheme. The other important thing is, and before talking about it, I would like you to go and watch the video of our chief editor of the Indian Express, Mr. Rajkamal Jha, who has tried to explain that what is the rationale behind this new design, and where it is clearly mentioned that it is the readers who kind of redesigned the Express. Why he says so, and I think UPSC aspirants are going to connect to it directly, is because जैसे कि आप लोग हमेशा मुझे भी ईमेल करते हैं और कहते हैं कि वी ऑल्सो वांट दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज़, दैट पर्टिकुलर न्यूज़, यू वांट दिस पार्ट ऑफ द सिलेबस टू बी कवर्ड, दैट पार्ट ऑफ द, you need more good content. Okay, you need diversity, and for diversity you need space in the newspaper. And when I say that, I would like you to come to the opinion and the ideas page. Now when you come to the opinion and the ideas page, the important thing which you must notice, say for example this editorial page, and then you have the ideas page. Okay, now if I talk about the editorial page, you'll find that the number of articles have increased. So when there are 3 editorials here, you have then the main editorial here, then you have 2 here. So earlier there was 1 or 2 less. Okay, so if you pick up the old Indian Express, you'll find it 1 or 2 less, and that is a difference. Not the I'll discuss about this difference in a little while. The idea is not to give you a lot of content, but give you good content. And if I talk about this, if you see the editorial page of the past, you will see that there were only 2 main editorial here, and then 3, which is very normal. Okay, now 2 here, now you have 1 extra here. Now the reason behind this is, and you would appreciate it as a UPSC aspirant, that you don't want to switch to many newspapers. You don't want so many newspapers to read. Okay, you want to dedicate your time to one newspaper thoroughly and religiously, and so that it provides maximum news. Now when you have more content which is good, okay, and which covers other part of the syllabus also. So see it from the perspective of your syllabus. So you will see that there's an international relation based news, then there is a social issues based news, and then there is something related to say environment. Like for example, it talks about Delhi winter and importance of wearing a mask now. So you see that because of the number of articles which have increased, the amount of topics which is reaching out to your syllabus has also increased. Okay, and therefore this particular page gives more space to more editorial content. And similarly when you come to ideas page, जैसे कि मैंने आपको दिखाया था कि वहाँ पे Indian Express के banner के ऊपर there's a slug which talks about one of the most attractive piece which you must read, and you must read for your exam definitely, I would say. So similarly, you see that page, that article is right in the beginning, which is written by Ajay Srivastava on US sanctioned Russia oil are not about Ukraine but its own shale industry. So it's a step forward, I would say, to cover more important news, which is more probably you will be able to connect it to more points of your syllabus, and you don't need to go to multiple sources to know क्या रह गया है, क्या और cover करना है. ओके तो ये जो इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है वो आपको मिस बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. इन द न्यू डिजाइन, as I said, there is no more space to content, and you will gradually find more content which is connected to the syllabus of your UPSC. That is something which you have to figure out, or I will help you to figure out कि कैसे एक particular content दूसरे content से आपके syllabus के दूसरे aspect से connected है. Now, the other important thing which I want to discuss, a lot of people have emailed me about it, is that when you read, there's something new or there's a change, all right, you feel a little uncomfortable in the beginning, okay, but believe me, this change is for good, because as I mentioned that it's good for your eyes, the experience, the experience which you will feel while reading it. It's more like a a very textbook kind of a thing where you need just a pen and you can start underlining a lot of things now, and which may not be very very flashy in the sense, it's very smooth. And then as I mentioned that with the example of opinion and editorial page or editorial and ideas page, that there is more content, which means more linking to your syllabus, and you don't need to go to multiple sources to understand what all important is today. Now let's come to the explained page, which is again one of the most important page for the UPSC aspirants. And again, you will find that that page is the design of the page has been more kept in mind for serious readers, serious audience, and that is exactly what is the readership of the Indian Express all about. The seriousness is intact. Now, I'm sorry, I'm just finding the explained page. Stuck between the pages, or I must say that I'm stuck between the new design. So let's see this explained page. So you see, there is not a lot of difference. So when you see a new design, you should not be very, you should not be very confused about it, that there's new design, how will I do it? It's not like that, okay? The content basically retains its top journalism, but at the same time, you see there are certain improvements. For example, if you see the key points, okay, the key points in the explainers. Now, say if I don't have time, okay, and generally students do not have time sometimes, so you can only pick up the key points and you can understand the whole story, okay. So this experience of writing key points, you can see in the first story is also like that, which is written by Amitabh Sinha, who writes on environment and science, and then one by Vineet Bhalla on law, okay. So this is also very interestingly, you see the gist or the momentous consequences, something like that will be always written there, so that you can feel even if you don't have time, you can just pick up those points. Or the other important thing which I really like about it, now I don't know whether the journalist here will understand this or not, but as a UPSC aspirant or somebody from the UPSC connection, you would definitely appreciate the points which have been mentioned: climate, law, global. So these kind of hints that what is this particular article really about. You don't need to go and read the whole topic connected to the syllabus, because this is so much in line with the syllabus, isn't it? Climate, global, law. So this kind of a thing. And then there is something called 2 things to know, which is a kind of value addition, isn't it? So you have to find, it's a new research explains why orb weavers, spiders add decorations to their webs. Okay, something new related to science and the biodiversity. So in all, the special session was important for us to do, because this is the first time you're going to experience the new design. And as you will go back and see the video of our chief editor Rajkamal Jha, you will find that he says that there may be more new changes in times to come. So we have to wait for that. and let's see what are the new changes in times to come. But for now, the most attractive part for all the UPSC aspirants, as I was mentioning before also, one is the soothing experience to your eyes when you are reading this newspaper, the kind of color scheme which has been used and which is definitely not going to make your eyes heavy when you're reading it for 2.5 hours. Okay, so one is that. The other important point is especially the opinion page and the ideas page, something which is very important for your mains answer writing, has given more space to good content, more space to diverse content. Okay, so you will have connecting it, you will be able to connect it to the other points of the syllabus. And the last part is when you read the explainer, the explained page, you will find that there's a more creative way of putting up the gist or important points in a way which should not look heavy to you, but give you definitely a summary or a gist or a important, really important striking points of the article mentioned. Yeah. Now, this is definitely the hard copy, but a lot of people are moving towards digital. If you have e-paper, you'll find a similar design in the e-paper. By the way, this is the New Delhi edition. And you'll find almost in all the editions the similar design with one or two changes in the way the stories have been put. But in the New Delhi edition, which are maximum aspirants read, this is going to be your new experience with the Indian Express, or as I say, the redesigned experience of the Indian Express, which you are going to see from today. All right, and why should I miss the happening today part, which is in the front page, which can tell you that what are the important events of the day, again, which is very important for readers, especially aspirants who want things in a quick format. Okay, especially now that we have Gen Zs appearing for UPSC examination. I understand what is the requirement there. Do read the letter of our chief editor on the front page, and you will be able to understand that why this design has been done, and you will be able to connect it. Because when I am reading this or when I saw the video, I felt that a lot of aspirants or UPSC aspirants also have a similar query about content and the experience of reading a newspaper, and I felt very connected there. So I'm sure you are also going to get a lot of connection, a lot of clarity on the new design of the, or I must say, the redesigned Indian Express newspaper. Now, this session was important because I wanted you all to know about the design, and in our next sessions or in the coming sessions, we will again go back to our normal format. The general format which we follow is about your questions, my answers, or our answers about exam in general, or about news in particular. So that's all from me today. Let's meet next Wednesday at the same time, and we will be also there on the YouTube channel of the Indian Express in a few hours from now. The same video, but I'll be there to answer your questions. Do write to me on manas.srivastava@indianexpress.com if you have questions for me, or if you have questions for, say, for Express in general. We will be able to convey it to the right people. Do follow and subscribe to Indian Express UPSC Essentials, and make the best use of the Indian Express content for your UPSC journey. That's all from me today. As I always say, think smart, work hard, conquer your goal. Bye-bye.